Hello, aspiring hunters. Welcome to the Hunter Experience. The mystery surrounding Sheila and Pariston Hill in Hunter x Hunter has generated a lot of speculation among fans. It's not an easy idea to swallow, I know, but maybe, just maybe, Pariston and Sheila are actually the same person. I'm going to elaborate on this theory, presenting the details that led me to think this way, and trying to build a solid line of reasoning without forcing anything. Let's dive into it without rushing, because there's a lot that needs to be said. If you're prepared for the incredible Hunter journey, click like and subscribe to the channel to join our troop. Don't forget to comment on who your favorite character is in Hunter x Hunter. Now, let's continue with this incredible story. First, let's observe the physical characteristics of Sheila and Pariston. The first thing that stands out when looking at both of them is the similarity in their faces. They both have that sardonic smile, that look of someone who knows more than they're letting on. And well, the resemblance is almost striking. Could it be a coincidence? Sure, it could be, but I don't think so. If you take a close look, you'll see that their physiognomies are practically identical. I'd say it's more than a coincidence. It's almost as if Togashi, the creator of the series, is giving us a visual clue that there's a connection between these two characters. Something more than meets the eye. Now, let's talk about the ears. And before you start laughing, understand that this is relevant. Sheila has rat-like ears. And guess who else has something related to rats? Pariston! He's the zodiac of the rat. And that's a fact. And this is another point that starts putting the pieces of the puzzle together. It might seem like a simple observation, but believe me, this is far from mere coincidence. Sheila has these rat-like ears, which are actually a pretty unique detail and could be a clue about her true identity. Here comes something that makes me think even more. Pariston's name, Pariston Hill. Have you thought about it? It's an anagram of Paris Hilton. That's a play on the famous celebrity's name, which in the end is a woman's name. Pariston's name, with this connection to a female celebrity, could very well be a clue that deep down, Pariston is a woman in disguise. This opens up a lot of possibilities. Could Sheila actually be Pariston? Could the true identity of Pariston, the one who played all those master moves in the Hunter Association, actually be Sheila? Another interesting point is Sheila's dream. When she was young, she wanted to become a hunter. This directly connects to the fact that Pariston was, at some point, the president of the Hunter Association. If Sheila and Pariston are the same person, it could explain how Pariston managed to rise so high in the association's hierarchy. For her, maybe everything was part of a much bigger plan. Sheila wanted to be a hunter, and at some point she used Pariston's name and identity to achieve that goal. I think this makes sense, especially when you observe the motivation she had to reach her goals. Now, let's take a step back and try to understand Sheila's behavior better. During the Phantom Troop flashback, we saw that Sheila constantly hurt herself. Every time she started to heal a little, she hurt herself again. This might seem like strange behavior at first, but if we think about it, it could be a tactic to gain Kurapika and Pyro's trust, as they were taking care of her. This makes me think about how Pariston also has this kind of behavior. He has this way of underestimating himself, of seeming weak or harmless, when in fact, he's just playing the game to deceive others. And Sheila, in the same way, could have been playing the fool to have others underestimate her. She and Pariston act in very similar ways in this aspect. Now, let's talk about the Kurta massacre. What exactly happened there? Well, I have a theory. I think Sheila, at some point, became interested in the Kurta, and for some reason, she wanted them to lose their lives. She probably got close to Kurapika and Pyro, making them trust her, and then gave them the Dino Hunter book. This book was very important to her, and she probably hid it somewhere near the village. Later, when the troops started searching for her and couldn't find her, Shalnark used his skills to track Sheila's phone. And then they found a book, and things started to make sense. From there, the troop probably went into action, investigating further. They found the Dino Hunter book and began to suspect that the Kurta were lying about their relationship with Sheila. The situation escalated, and in an explosion of rage, the troop likely decided to attack the Kurta. I believe Sheila took this opportunity to disappear and change her identity. She probably became Pariston, and that's how she ended up infiltrating the Hunter Association. The troop must have believed that Sheila had lost her life during this incident, which helped to conceal Pariston's true identity. And I couldn't leave out Sheila's relationship with Sarasa. They were very close, and the way Sheila reacted to Sarasa's death was, at the very least, strange. When Sarasa died, Sheila seemed calmer than expected, given the context. This made me wonder, could Sheila have actually been involved in Sarasa's death? Sheila's behavior during this event makes me think she might have been responsible, or at least played a part in some way. The way Togashi drew Sheila's reaction without showing her eyes, without tears, is a peculiar detail. He does this intentionally, almost as if he's giving us a clue that something was very wrong. Sheila wasn't devastated like the others. In fact, she seemed more distant, almost like she was waiting for that moment. And for me, this points to the fact that she knew more than she was letting on. To move forward, we need to take a closer look at Sheila's behavior, especially in relation to the troop. The way she interacts with the members of the troop has some characteristics that make me think that Pariston, assuming Sheila's identity, might have been in control of the entire situation from the beginning. What stands out in this case is Sheila's manipulative behavior. She's always surrounded by those who support her, but she never seems to be fully part of the group. She keeps herself on the sidelines, observing, playing the game, and subtly manipulating situations. This is very reminiscent of Pariston, right? He's always been there, observing, giving others the rope to play his game without them even realizing it. Now, if we go back to the issue of the Kurta massacre and Sheila's behavior within the troop, we see something very curious. Sheila, as I mentioned before, seemed to have her own goal from the beginning, the destruction, or at least the destabilization, of the troop. If she was really trying to manipulate the troop into having the Kurta killed, then her choice to work with the members of this killing team makes perfect sense. Sheila knew exactly how to use the troop's weaknesses to her advantage. And when Sarasa's death occurred, that was Sheila Pariston's first major move to test the emotional resilience of the other troop members. When Sarasa loses her life, it's a huge turning point for everyone. But contrary to what Sheila probably expected, the troop didn't collapse. They grew even closer, forging a stronger bond, something Sheila hadn't predicted. She wanted chaos to spread, for Sarasa's pain to destroy all the troop members. But the truth is that her death had the opposite effect. It wasn't despair that spread, but an increase in determination. Sheila, Pariston, in their Machiavellian mind, must have been frustrated with this response, because their plans never go exactly as imagined. This fits well with Pariston's behavior, someone obsessed with controlling everything around them, but who, deep down, always ends up being caught by the very game they try to play. And thinking about it, wouldn't this be Pariston's philosophy of life? He believes that manipulating and causing others suffering are ways to achieve his own goals. But in reality, he is always more interested in watching others struggle and squirm in their own game. He wants others to play by his rules. But often, he ends up being a victim of the very system he created. Sheila, if she really is Pariston, fits perfectly into this logic. She had a goal to weaken the troop and manipulate the Kurta, but in the end, she created a situation that only strengthened their bonds. This makes me think that, deep down, she also knew that the Kurta, or the troop, would never be defeated in this way. Perhaps she knew deep down that Sarasa's death would be the turning point for the creation of the true strength of the spider. This strength, which arose from pain and suffering, but which, contrary to Sheila's plan, was not broken. On the contrary, it was solidified. This is an important point. The spider, the troop of assassins, was formed out of suffering. And if Sheila Pariston had any intention of creating something deeper with her manipulation, she must have realized that what she was doing wasn't having the effect she expected. The pain of the troop members didn't destroy them, but united them in a way no one could have imagined. This is something very interesting about Pariston as well. He has this ability to create chaos, but his true strength lies in manipulating people's perceptions so that they play exactly as he wants. But in the end, who ends up being manipulated is himself. Now, maybe you're wondering, but what about Sheila's behavior towards Paku? Did she really not feel the pain of Sarasa's loss? Perhaps the answer lies precisely in how she dealt with that pain. The fact that she didn't seem as affected as the others, especially Paku, makes me think that she wasn't as emotionally connected to Sarasa as it seemed. If Sheila were more connected with the troop, with Sarasa, her reaction would have been very different. I think Sheila wasn't just repressing her emotions, but actually already knew what was coming. She was more concerned with observing the others, how they would react and how she could manipulate that. This is typical of Pariston. He is always in control, always manipulating situations in a way he thinks is advantageous, without ever losing himself in the middle of the game. But what do you think about this? Could it all be part of a plan? Hunters, that was our video for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed our video, subscribe to the channel as it is still very new, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then.